that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more. No more sorrows. No more bad days. No more cries. No more dark cold place. No more fear. No more fight. Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, babe, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build a bridge over troubled water, fry. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more. No more sorrow. No more bad days. No more cries. No more dark cold place. No more fear. No more fight. I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more. No more sorrow. No more bad days. No more cries. No more dark cold place. No more fear. No more fight. Let the sun walk on the way. Shine, shine. Let the sun walk down the way, shine, 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 shine.
Never lose your faith in the brightness of your eyes. Never let the sorrow bring you down. Put my carry smile in your beautiful face. This way is much easier to go. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Forget about your problems, enjoy living your life. Open up your heart for love to come inside. Jesus by your side, and with Him close to you, you'll be glad and never become blue. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Jesus by your side. This way is much easier to go. You'll be glad and never become blue.
It's always good of getting together. It's always good to do the good. I I do believe the world can be better, and I know that you believe it too. Papa, Mama, brothers and sisters, let's get ready for a new dawn. This is the time for those big changes we have all been waiting for so long. Listen to this call, the time is right now. Here is the place, so let's move in a faster pace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace. It's always good to getting together. It's always good to do the good. I do believe the world can be better, and I know that you believe it too. Papa, Mama, brothers and sisters, let's get ready for a new dawn. This is the time for those big changes we have all been waiting for so long. Listen to this call, the time is right now. Here is the place, so let's move in a faster pace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace. Listen to this call, the time is right now. Here is the place, so let's move in a faster pace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace. Jesus waiting for us to spread His grace.
How's life in the spiritual world? Would you like to learn more about it? Join us to study and learn together about this and many other topics.
Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes it's not so close. Sometimes we build our dreams, but then we see them decompose. When you feel down the dumps, feeling sad and blue, give life a chance, my friend, the sun will shine again on you. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Have little faith in you. Maybe tomorrow you can dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, it doesn't mean the end. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Sometimes okay to feel blue. Have little faith in you. all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, your dreams can get you through. Have little faith in you.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by a Q&A. And following the presentation, we will also have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. Can we repeat the video just because I don't think we had sound? The sound was not on. Just a moment.
Have you ever wondered if there's life after death? Would you like to learn more about this fascinating topic? So join us. Let's study and learn together these and many other topics.
This is a special invitation for all those who want to learn more about Spiritism. It will start a new course of our Get to Know Spiritism, which is free, and it happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. And it will start again a new class on September 10th. We will be sharing more information soon, so stay tuned if you are interested, okay? So we will also would like to invite everyone to follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from Spiritism Canada and Spiritist Group Paths of Light. And now we would like to start with the opening prayer, and I invite everyone to join me. So let's close our eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Elevate our thoughts to the loving image of our Master Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here tonight. We ask for your blessing and your protection to start our public meeting tonight. May we be open to all the lessons and teachings that will be presented today to us through our guest speaker. And may we be able to put it all into practice in our daily lives. We ask that you stay with us today and always. So be it. And now we would like to also announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concrafas Americas through their Facebook, and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will be addressing any of the questions at the end of the talk. Today's topic it's a special meeting, and the topic of today's meeting, it's shining light over resentment and oversensitivity, in which will be facilitated by our sister Andiara from Apex, United States. And now, without any further ado, we invite tonight's speaker. Welcome, Andiara.
Hello.
Hello. It's
Hi,
nice to see you today. And we are all excited to hear from you about this topic.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. As you said, I'm from the group of North Carolina in the United States. We are located in Apex. And I'm going to be talking to you about a topic that we have been studying. I like to give this little intro. So we are studying, inner reform, ways of that we can do better as spiritists, as human beings. And then we have been studying, different topics, judgment, anger, and today we're going to talk a little bit about oversensitivity. Before we do that, I like to highlight that every time we are talking about, those lower feelings, we have this tendency when we hear, something, we are very quick in identifying people in our lives that do that. But the idea with this talk is that we are going to look inside of us.
Oh, that's the hard part, right? But it's so necessary to always be looking into our own life and our own experience, right? Yeah. So I'm glad that I will be able to listen to you today. So over to you now.
Thank you so much. Let me go ahead, share my screen. Here we go. All right, so as I said, we are going to be talking about the idea of us improving ourselves. And today we are going to be talking a little bit more about, how oversensitivity can cause resentment on us. One of the things that we have been doing here in our group, the idea of these studies came from the Spiritist literature from Joanna de Angelis. She actually has a series of books that are called, the psychological series. And she talks a lot about what we call sometimes like our shadow side. That's why we have this image in here. And basically the idea of this shadow side is that, we all have, we all feel lower feelings. We are incarnated in a planet that is still of trials and expiations. So we all, as humans, as spiritists that are still evolving, we all feel those feelings. But we have this tendency, deep down in our conscious, we know that those feelings, most of them are not okay. And so we try to suppress them. So for many of us, sometimes when we see someone misbehaving, or even when we misbehave, sometimes it's so clear to the person that is from the outside, and when we can question ourselves, how this person doesn't note that she acts in this way, that she's so judgmental, or that she's overreacting so much. The idea that Joanna de Angelis brings with her work is that because it's kind of a subconscious thing on us, that we know that those feelings are not the best, we try to hide them. So we hide them in our subconscious. So the idea with the talks that we have been doing is that, by shining a light in those topics, we are going to be able to look inside of us. We are going to be able to identify if we do have those lower feelings, because it's just by identifying them that we will be able, to correct ourselves, right? How are we supposed to correct something that we don't even know exists inside of us? So this was just the little intro for you guys. And so, as I said, today the topic we are going to be talking about oversensitivity. And so I always like to start my talks with a definition, especially because I struggled a bit in translating this word from Portuguese to English. The word in Portuguese is melindre. And so, but I think that, I was able to find the translation that it goes along the best with the definition of melindre. So what does it mean, being an oversensitive person? The definition the dictionary brings us is that, it's just being excessively sensitive, too easily bothered, upset, or offended. How many of you have either felt this or interacted with someone that finds issues in any comments that other people do around them, even if the other people do not have any harm intentions, even if the comment was not direct to this person, the person always finds a way of, getting offended, getting upset. Some people don't like jokes, also because, they get offended, they get upset. Another very common thing that, of people that overreact or that are oversensitive, it's not knowing how to respond to criticism or even feedback, even when the criticism is coming from a place of being constructive, right? And so we are going to talk a little bit about this today. Of course, bringing the lenses of Spiritism, also, what Kardec had to say to us about that. And so a couple points for us to observe. And again, when I am saying observe, is not only that we are going to be looking and thinking, my husband does that, my best friend does that. When we are observing, we are thinking, do I do that? So the idea is that we will observe and think if we are the ones doing it. Okay. So number one, as I said, the sensitive person is very easily offended. They identify, and I'm using they, but again, the invitation is that we are going to look inside of us. They identify offensive intentions in most of the trivial things. A simple joke or a poorly chosen word can make them feel seriously offended. I'm not sure if this expression is common in Canada, it's common in the US. They say walking over eggshells. In Portuguese, we say pisando em ovos. So we all know, or sometimes we are the type of people that, it's very difficult to be around someone when you have to be watching every single word that you say, because the person might take offense on that. So this is the idea, behind when we say oversensitivity. So basically, someone that is oversensitive, this person is always on the lookout for the actions and saying of the others. Anything that remotely resembles criticism will make this person feel hurt. And in reality, the particular way of feeling, why this person behaves like this, it's because the person is not able to deal with frustrations, which for us as spiritists, this is a big problem. Because if we think that we are here to evolve, if we are here to overcome our shortcomings, being able to deal with frustrations is the number one thing that we need to work on. So another thing, why is it that we should be today focusing in paying attention to that and trying to improve that? So Spiritism says that being oversensitive, or being melindroso, as we say in Portuguese, this is like a virus. It's a virus that is spread discord in people. They say that it sneaks up on all those who are unvigilant, making them feel or value themselves more highly than they should. And don't get me wrong, having a good self-esteem is important. It's important. In Spiritism, we talk so much about the importance of loving ourselves, right? Because sometimes we talk so much about loving others and we are unforgiving and we don't know how to love our own selves. But we should understand that this idea of loving ourselves, it's love. This cannot go beyond what is reasonable, right? Loving ourselves also means that we should be able to look to our flaws, to be able to correct them instead of hiding, right? And so when we start to judge ourselves to being superior than our brothers and sisters, then we are giving way to vanity. We are giving way to pride, to this sense of superiority. And do we think that this goes along with the teachings of Jesus, with the teachings that Spiritism brings to us? Do we think that judging ourselves to be superior to others goes along with the teaching of loving your neighbor as yourself? So if they are saying loving your neighbor as yourself, it means coming from a point of equality, not superiority, not feeling superior to anyone. And so that's why we should today be talking about this, because if we start to develop inside of ourselves vanity, pride, this sense of false superiority, then number one, we are not progressing as spirits. We are not helping ourselves, and it's also going to be problematic because we are going to be creating problems instead of creating and maintaining healthy relationships with those around us. We are only gonna create tension and feelings of hate, or sometimes hurt. And so what is it that Kardec says about this? This is so fascinating, guys. I'm not sure if you reflect about this, but Kardec's work is from the 1800s. And I feel that talking about oversensitivity is something so of like the nowadays, that to me is really impressive, being able to look in Kardecpedia, in his works, and being able to find, him talking about this. It makes me think that this is not a problem of nowadays. It's a problem that we have been facing as humanity and trying to overcome for quite some time. So, okay, enough of that. What is it that Kardec really says about this? So he says, quote, the exaltation of personality leads men to consider themselves above others. Thinking himself or herself to have superior rights, he takes offense at whatever, in his opinion, constitutes an offense to his rights. The importance which out of pride he attaches to his person naturally makes him selfish. Okay, so he is saying that these overreactions that we have, it's because we find ourselves in this position of being superior. It comes from our pride. um, it comes from us being selfish. It's really interesting because if you go and you look what modern psychology talks about, this topic, they also confirm what Kardec is saying. They talk about, the sense of this oversensitivity coming from a place of, person having their pride is being hurt, right? They also talk about there are two sides of the coin. It's a disturbance in your personality, because either you find yourself to be superior, or in another way you might find yourself to be inferior. And therefore, if you have problems with your self-esteem, sometimes that is just a mechanism of reaction. I like to tell stories. And so this is really interesting because we are so quick in judging how people behave, right? We see someone behaving in a certain way, and sometimes we're just like, why is this person being so mean? Why is this person reacting like this? So I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she was complaining about a third person who reacts in this way, sometimes uh, being too pushy, acting as if she knows so much. And then I listened to this podcast. This was a podcast that they were talking about exactly kind of this essence of the shadow work. The idea that sometimes the way that we come across is because we are hiding so much inside of ourselves. And they were actually talking about this, that sometimes people that portray themselves to the world as being too demanding, as being too proud, as being too superior, in reality, they have a deep sense of insecurity inside of themselves. So it's the coping mechanism that they develop to be able to deal with all that insecurity, with all those feelings. So when I listened to that podcast, I was trying to bring all that lesson to the lenses of Spiritism. And I was like, it's probably why God and all the teachings of Jesus, they talk so much about the importance of even loving our enemies, right? Loving to all people, but also those who hurt you. Because what Jesus was probably trying to say with his words is that the person that is offending you, they are probably hurting inside of themselves. It's just the way that they are showing, it's a different way. They are not being so open and honest with all the struggles that they have inside of themselves. So the idea with this slide and with what I am saying, it's an invitation for us every time that we feel frustrated with a third person, trying to come from this point of understanding, trying to understand, maybe the way that the person is behaving, it's because the person is maybe insecure, because the person has all their problems inside of themselves. In this way, we are not going to be judgmental, and we will certainly, when we can empathize, is when it becomes easier for us to love. Because let's be honest, it's still difficult for so many of us, myself included, to really practice what Jesus said when he encouraged us to love our enemies. Especially if we are just viewing this person from this point of like, oh, this person is so difficult. How is it that I'm going to deal with her? But when you start to empathize, when you start, to try to find a deep meaning behind why this person is behaving in this way, that is when it becomes easier for us to send this love, to send this light directed to the person. And so Kardec even talks a little bit more about pride. This is from the Gospel according to Spiritism. He talks again about pride, saying that pride induces us to judge ourselves to be more than we are, and to repel any comparison which might discredit you. You consider yourselves to be so much higher than your fellow men or women, to be it in a spirit, in social position, or even in personal advantages, that the least parallel irritates and annoys you. What happens then? You give way to anger. And so, this is the main topic of the talk today. We are talking, about oversensitivity. And you may tell me, oh, Andy, oversensitivity is so small. It's something that happens to everyone. It's so ingrained in our daily lives. Why are we not talking about bigger topics? About the topics that are really out there, causing wars, causing so many issues. It's because when we look deep into oversensitivity, we can understand that, when you are building up these feelings of discontent inside of yourself, you will start to build up resentment. And when resentment starts to accumulate inside of you, that starts to trigger even bigger feelings like anger, like aggressive tendencies. So it's really important, when we are talking about looking inside of ourselves, looking inside to understand if we are practicing, if we are overreacting, if we are being the oversensitive people in here. It's because it's really important. It's almost like it's the step number one. So we can start, stopping resentment. So we can start, controlling our anger. So we can start controlling our aggressive feelings. It is also super important, that we are more conscious about the way that we come across, because it's exactly what this slide says. You can tell a lot about a person by what they choose to take personal, right? So let's not forget that by our actions, we are setting the example out there. How many of you have kids? Or, I don't know, we are social beings. We interact with people at work, we interact with others inside of our houses, right? And it's by the example that we are setting that we are teaching the other people about who we are and about how to behave also, and how they should treat us. So, if we keep overreacting, if we don't know how to take criticism, if we are constantly trying to find the issues in what other people are telling us, or, doubting the intentions of others around us. Number one, what is the example that we are setting to our kids? Number two, do we really think that it's going to be pleasant for people that are surrounding us? Soon enough, and this is funny because yesterday I was talking to a coworker about this, no one wants to be around people that are too negative. No one wants to be around someone that makes you feel uncomfortable, right? Is it so nice, how sometimes we say, oh, this person is a ray of sunshine. It's so nice to be around people that make us feel good. So can we take the time to consider how is it that others are feeling when they are around us? This is I think it's a powerful exercise to put ourselves in the shoes of the others that are around us. How are they feeling? Are they feeling, energized, or they are maybe feeling drained by our presence because we are demanding too much, because we are just, bringing so much weight to the relationship. And you might ask me, then Andy, explain to us Why is it that we feel that? Why is it that we, what is it that happens on us that triggers all of that? Well, we talked a little bit about pride, but also this is also related to feelings of being threatened, right? So it's almost that when our ego feels threatened or destabilized by something or someone. So let's say, the example of not taking criticism very well. When our ego feels threatened, he reacts through an emotional withdrawal, aiming to preserve in a defensive and immature way these structures of himself. And what are these structures? Pride and vanity and those lower feelings. This is actually from a book that unfortunately there is no translation in English. It's a book called Convivência na Casa Espírita from Roberto Almeida. And so when, in just a minute, we are going to start talking about ways in which we can shine a light on that, but understanding that sometimes what trigger those feelings on us is this idea of being threatened. This is already a starting point for us. Why am I feeling like this? Am I being threatened by what the person is saying? The person is criticizing me. Am I feeling threatened by that? How about if instead of feeling threatened, I start to understand that this criticism is coming from a point of helping me? It's coming from a point of helping me to become a better person, helping me to become a more skilled professional. Who knows? So this is the idea, is that by understanding what is it behind the feeling, we will be able to course correct ourselves. And so just a quote, Eleanor Roosevelt, she's not a spiritist author. She was, the wife of a former US president, but she said something that is really relevant to this topic. She said that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So, we should not take comments, we should not take any criticism or any, jokes to the ego. We can always use this as an opportunity to observe ourselves and improve. And there are so many examples. Just a quick example to give you. When I arrived in the US, my first work was in the services industry. And as you can imagine, at the time, my English was not the best. And sometimes the people that when I was serving the table, people would make comments that were mean. And sometimes my colleagues in the restaurant, they would hear the comments and they would come and check on me and be like, Andy, are you okay? Are you offended? That person was so mean to you. Are you feeling fine? And believe it or not, I never let that hurt me because number one, I agree that my English could use some improvement at the time. But I think more importantly than that is the secret is in this slide. It's here. I was in peace. I wasn't feeling threatened. My heart was in a good place in that moment. So I didn't take any offense. I think that's one of the keys for us to not take offense on things. Is just we are only able to react in a positive way if we have peace inside of our hearts. If other things in our life are not okay, if we are suffering in a way or another, it might be difficult for us to react in a positive way. So how else can we shine a light on it? Well, number one is getting to know our shadow. And how is it that we get to know? It's by asking questions to ourselves. Why am I feeling this way? Every time you are feeling not only feelings of oversensitivity, but if you are feeling judgment, if you are feeling resentment, if you are feeling anger, why is it that I am feeling this way? Why is it behind it? Is this triggering me an experience? Or maybe I'm mad at a third person and I'm just putting it out right now. But the most important thing about the shining a light on it, we as a spiritist, we understand that we are spirits in progress, that the opportunity of this incarnation is an opportunity for us to progress. So every time that someone is criticizing, we should take that as an opportunity to improve ourselves. Always. And maybe discounting if the person is not really being skillful, skilled in using the best words. Not everyone has a really great way of communicating. Sometimes people, they don't choose the best words to communicate with us. But we should always, assume the best intention and think, maybe the person is telling me this because she's interested that I improve, that I grow. Because if the person would not be interested in that, it would be so easy to just turn the back on me and not say anything. So if we get upset with criticism or different opinions, it means that we are missing out a great opportunity to grow and learn. And this is gonna go against our progress. There is actually the question in the screen is from the Spiritist book, and in which Kardec asked these spirits if human beings have the power to stop their progress, and the answer is like, they cannot stop, but they can slow it, let's put it like that. Sometimes, basically his answer is that we will certainly evolve and progress, but sometimes, because of our decisions, we will delay for a long time. So the idea is that this is an invitation for us to stop delaying, to try to use the most out of the opportunity of this incarnation, to really take all the opportunities that we get to improve ourselves. And so we know a lot of what we should not do. We know enough of that. Now, you might ask me, what is it then that we should develop? And here is just three of a couple things that we should probably focus. Number one, resiliency. What is resiliency? Resiliency is being able to go through crisis or, unfortunate things, challenges, without being overwhelmed by them. Being able to come out of crisis feeling stronger, even though, we might be hurt. Being able to give a new meaning to suffering, adversity, and transform those things into learning. So I feel that resiliency has so much to do with everything that we talk on Spiritism. So that's one thing. Second thing is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is nothing more than the ability of understand. I'm reading from a definition from the dictionary here. The ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a positive way, to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, and overcome challenges. So it is this emotional intelligence that is going to help us to sometimes hear those words that might not sound so nice, but not take offense, but not let that hurt our feelings. Okay? And finally, assertiveness. What is to be assertive? Is to be in a position in which, we are sometimes setting up boundaries, or we are being very clear in the way that we are communicating without being either aggressive or, too passive. So, not being submissive, being able, to establish boundaries, but still with lots of respect and love. And so to close the talk today, this is a message from André Luiz that has everything to do with the topic that we studied today. And the message says, give the others the freedom to think as much as you are free to think as you wish. Each person sees life's problems from a different angle. Often, an opinion different from your own can be of great help in your experience if you take the time to study. So here it is, the opportunity for us to improve ourselves. Oversensitivity destroys the best friendships. He who complains aggravates difficulties. Do not cultivate resentment. Grieving is a way to lose the best situations. Don't get upset, but cooperate. He who lives on hurting himself ends up on the condition of a thorn bush. And with that, I thank you so much for being here tonight. And I can answer any questions you might have right now.
Hi, Andy. I'm back. Thank you so much for your presentation tonight. This is such an important topic. I feel that everybody needs to evaluate like every day, right? And it just made me remember that in our group study here in London, we were just talking on Sunday. We were just talking about how um, sometimes situations happens where, like you were saying, sometimes we judge other people, and then the same situation happens with us, and then we act the same way, or we think in acting the same way, and then we had to stop and think and reevaluate and see, and that's where the empathy comes, right? When we pass like through the same situation of the ones that we were judging, right? And this happens so often that just makes me think that our friendly like spirits that are here with us, right? Trying to show us that this is not the pathway, right? Like judging or complaining about these kind of things. Like you were saying about oversensitivity, like this is not the path to live a good life. We really need to stop with that and really put ourselves in the same situation and see how we would react, right?
Exactly. And as you said it so well, I feel that sometimes um, these spirits they bring situations to our lives to kind of teach us lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, as you said, like last week you were complaining about this person. So let's see how you are going to do when the situation is happening, in the contrary, when you are the one going through that. And so we should always, always approach everything in life as an opportunity to learn. And, you know, if it means that you are taking criticism and evaluating yourself, as I said, at the time when that criticism was just about my English that was not good, I'm like, it's true. Unfortunately, the person is right. I could use some improvement. Maybe sometime from now, I hope I won't get those type of criticisms. I hope my English will be good. Right now, the person is right.
So we had one question. Let me share with you. So it's from Rod Gomez, and he's asking, are there any tips on how I can be less oversensitive and also put myself in other people's shoes to better understand them? Thank you for this great talk.
Thank you, Rod. Well, I think number one is like it's coming from this place of, as André Luis said, it's an opportunity for you. You know, maybe the person is not using the best words in providing the criticism to you. Sometimes we also, instead of being super direct, we use a little joke, a little way to approach people, but always trying to think, is there any valuable lessons in here? Instead of taking offense, is this something that I should really be paying attention? Maybe I don't know that I overreact. Maybe I don't know that I'm too dramatic, and this person is just trying to help me. So that's number one. Number two, even if the person was not coming from a constructive way, if the person is just coming, from a hurtful place, sometimes it's the empathy that even Larissa said, it's like we don't really know what this person is experiencing. As Jesus said, we should try to love even our enemies more importantly than those who are nice to us. And so I really think that empathy is the beginning for that. I wish we as humanity we could be in a place right now that we would just know how to love without even the need of empathize. But I feel that right now the empathy, like when you start to understanding what the other person is going through, or even giving them this benefit of the doubt, you
Mm-hmm.
know like, I don't know, maybe this person has problems at home, and maybe this person is struggling financially, who knows. I'm gonna give this person a discount. I'm not gonna take offense on this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. And just got me thinking that usually we don't like what I usually try to think is that um, everybody's trying their best, right? They are trying to live the way and acting the way that they know best with the resources that they have and with the um, um, kind of like the even the virtues that they have. So we are all trying our best, and having, like you said, sometimes it's just, going through the same situation to really make us think uh, on how we would portray in that same situation. But when we we can see other people and analyze, like you were saying, just by looking at it and just giving the that person the doubt, right? Like the discount. Um, Sometimes this can even take you off from a bad situation, right? So instead of fighting, or instead of um, going through a discussion with somebody, maybe like if you just stop and breathe and think, okay, maybe this person is having a good day, it's not like personally direct to me, right? It's a problem with themselves. Then this can be another way to kind of prevent us or avoid to just going through some situation that it's not good, right?
And what can be the negatives of that? I can only see positives, right? Because number one, you are going to improve your relationship with others. Number two, it's that part of, if people are seeing you as this oversensitive person that you have to be super careful around, people will tend to distance from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and we don't want that, we don't want to be alone. We want to have people around us. We want to be loved. So, the more that we try to improve ourselves, the more that we try, to do better, that will only bring benefits to us.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I'd like to thank you one more time for your beautiful presentation tonight. And now we will move on to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. So passes is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes helps us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. And during the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to join me. Let's close our eyes once again and mentalize our Master Jesus. Master Jesus, we would like to thank you for one more night that we could spend learning a little bit more about Spiritism. May we be able to look into ourselves and try to put into practice the lessons presented today about oversensitivity. We also would like to thank you for all the benefits that the spiritual treatment will bring to us and to our family tonight. We ask your protection for the week that we still have ahead, and we trust that you will stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain. Let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass, you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The path begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father.
Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
We would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Concafres Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. Have a good night.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody is alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.